Pratik, you've created quite a buzz in the market. What is this buzz all about?
There was a very a recent thing that went viral on Instagram. There was Kareena Kapoor, there was Kriti Sanon, there was Tabu, there was Rhea Kapoor having the pizzas that we did.
You are in a very competitive field.
Yeah.
How have you been able to position your brand amidst tough competition?
So we position our brand as a casual upscale pizzeria, which is more dining centric. For a lot of people, pizza is more about delivery, getting something at home, but people don't venture out a lot to eat pizzas.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 of PODCAGS Season 2, a podcast curated especially for our young audience. I am in conversation with Mr. Pratik Agarwal, the founder, creator and executive chef at Aristico Food LLP, especially known for its brand outlet, Queen Margherita Pizzeria. Pratik is absolutely in love with music, with fashion, movies, and is a bundle of positive energy. Moreover, he has immense experience in the field of marketing and branding. Most importantly, Pratik is a proud alumnus of Children's Academy Batch 2006. A very warm welcome to you, Pratik.
Thank you for having me here. I was looking forward to this moment, coming back to the school and sharing my experience and reliving those memories. This used to be a computer room from what I remember, which is now a conference room. It looks very different.
I know it must be very nostalgic for you. Right?
Yeah. So much of mischief that has happened in this too.
So, Pratik, you are in a very competitive field.
Yeah.
How have you been able to position your brand amidst tough competition?
So we position our brand as a casual upscale pizzeria, which is more dining centric. For a lot of people, pizza is more about delivery, getting something at home, but people don't venture out a lot to eat pizzas. I think that is also because a lot of things are not available for people when they go out. You don't have a lot of options to go out and eat a good pizza at a place. Everything seems very similar when it comes to pizza at a lot of restaurants. So for us, it is more about how can we appeal to the same flavor palette that people have with the authenticity that comes with Italian food, yet the simplicity that relates to pizza, which I think is the best comfort food in the world. So yeah, it's all about keeping it simple, keeping it exciting, and just keeping it very creative.
I'm sure the young audience completely agrees with you with the fact that this is a comfort food for them.
Yeah, of course. I think pizza has a lot of space in everyone's heart these days, especially the younger ones.
Pratik, you've created quite a buzz in the market. What is this buzz all about?
I think this buzz is all about people just appreciating simple and good food. With us, we don't try too hard to appeal to someone. We just do what we love. We do keeping our customers in mind. The kind of people that come to our place. Why would they want to eat this? Or why would they want to come back again? So we have striked some really good chords in their heart with our food, and we've just been doing very consistently what we've been doing. So I think that is one of the reasons why people still have that special place for our pizzas.
So I saw your pictures all over the media with the who's who of Mumbai. Would you like to tell us more about that?
Yes, so there was a very a recent thing that went viral on Instagram, where you could see Kareena Kapoor having the pizzas that we did. There was Kareena Kapoor, there was Kriti Sanon, there was Tabu, there was Rhea Kapoor, and everyone from the movie, which is called The Crew. So Rhea Kapoor has been in touch with me ever since she discovered us in COVID, and she had this crazy idea, why don't you come and do live pizzas for us on a movie set? because Kareena Kapoor loved our pizza so much during COVID, and that was a fantastic idea. For us, it was a challenge. How do we do that? Because a movie set is very chaotic. There are a lot of things happening at a very, very fast pace. So to match up to that was, very exciting and challenging. So when we did that, I had a moment to, bring those pizzas out to Kareena ma'am, to Kriti Sanon ma'am, and to Tabu ma'am, and their experiences was just their reaction towards the food was just on the next level. Yeah, that was I could never forget that moment ever in my life. Uh, there was a moment where I was sitting in between Kareena on my left and Kriti Sanon on my right, and they both were pulling each other's leg when it comes to pizza because they loved it so much, and it was a slice after slice, and that kept on going. So for me, it was a movie for myself, where I am the center character, and there are these who's and celebrities who just immensely are loving what I did, and they're appreciating in their own tone and their own style. It was just out of a dream.
So Pratik, in this sea of cuisines, why did you choose pizza?
Pizza is the most simplest and the most underrated food, I feel. There is so much to it. And for me, a food revolves a lot around the situations that I am. My food habits are all situational. And pizza suits every situation. If you are going out with friends, if you're on a date, if you just want to have something by yourself, you want to have something by the street. So, pizza is very interesting that way. And I also think it is one of the coolest food to make. It comes from my childhood days where I would still remember I was in 6th grade and I would take a normal pizza bread from a bakery, put some ketchup on it, just some toppings of onions and tomatoes, and take the most basic cheese that I could find at any convenience store, put it on the pizza. And at those times I did not have an oven at home, so I used to make a pizza on pan, and that love for just making something and having it with my younger brother at home during the rainy days, it just brings so much of nostalgia out, that I figured that pizza is something that I can do for the rest of my life. You'd say like, okay, you wanna have biryani? Haan, theek hai, chalega. What about North Indian? Okay, what about pizza? Yes, that is the chord you strike.
So you maintain that authenticity, or you your Indian version of
No, so we maintain our authenticity. The idea is to respect the authenticity of Italian pizzas as it was.
That's why Queen Margherita. That's the reason you wanted that.
That's the reason Queen Margherita is the name. But yet, we are Indians. So it has to come back to what ingredients we are using, keeping it authentic. We are not Indianizing the food, yet Indians love it. So that is our outlook towards authentic style pizzas at Queen Margherita. And then later on, we started delivering all across, because I thought, yeah, if the delivery boy cannot go there, at least a cab can go. So this was something very creative and out of the box, where we used to put pizzas in a cab, in an Ola cab, and send that. I think the furthest we have sent it is still Vashi. And in COVID, this was our standard protocol to deliver food anywhere. Because people were very scared to get in touch with the delivery boy or someone handling the food, but for some reason a cab was safer and it was more secured. So that was something very creative that we did.
So how does your interest in music, fashion, and movies influence your business decisions?
For me, fashion, music, and movie is art. I am a very creative person, so I get influenced by the kind of music that I listen to, the kind of movies that I watch, the kind of fashion that I follow, and that helps me create my own art, which is the food that I make. So it is sort of a lifestyle choice. When I'd say the kind of content that you consume creates your mindset as a person, and at the same time also influences you to what kind of food you want to consume. So I feel my industry, along with food, fashion, and movies, is a lifestyle choice.
I wanted to ask you, Pratik, you chose a very different career path. So, were you not swayed by your peer or your family, peer pressure, or by your family members?
A lot, a lot. The kind of answers that I got from people when I told them, that I'm thinking about starting a restaurant, and before I start a restaurant, I want to learn about food. So I'm thinking about working at a restaurant, and then my plan is to start my own restaurant. A lot of people told me, "What are you doing?" I am someone who comes with a lot of education in my career. I've got a master's degree in finance. I've got another postgraduate degree in marketing. And a lot of people told me, what are you going to do with them? And why do you want to work at a restaurant? You're going to start a business. Just start a business and then hire people and let them do the job. But I feel it was very important for me to deep dive into the whole thing before getting my hands on with my money and investing more into it. It was more like, let's explore, see how it is, learn first how to do the job, and then create job for other people. And the most interesting answer I still remember came from my mom. I was in Canada, and I was on call on WhatsApp with her, and I told her, "Mom, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start my own restaurant, and now I'm leaving my marketing job, and I'm going to start working at a pizza place to learn how to make pizza." And my mom told me, "Tu bawarchi banega?" And I mean, from her point of view, it was fair, because your kid has learned so much, he's gone to university, he's got a lot of education, and now he wants to do something with his hands, which is, I feel, I call it labor therapy. Anything that you do with hand is very therapeutic. So for her, her mindset, her point of view was very different. For me, my point of view was very different. I took feedback from everyone I knew, and I weighed them out. And then I came to a point where, okay, it's fair enough. They're speaking from their point of view. I have my own journey to begin. I've learned this from a lot of people that I have observed, a lot of people who have been an idol to me, where you have to take spontaneous decisions on your gut feeling.
So, Pratik, as a student, how has Children's Academy helped mold your life?
So, the one very strong quality that I learned from Children's Academy is to gel between people. You have to be disciplined, and at the same time, you have to enjoy what you're doing. If you are just disciplined and if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you can't do it for too long. If you don't gel with people around you, you're just gonna be left out. So being a team member is something that I feel comes from all these qualities combined. You are in a position where you have to think about yourself, the other person, and how you guys can maintain balance and do something which is gonna be in both's favor. So that is something that I've learned from our school, and which is very underrated these days.
Pratik, values play a very important role in building a brand. How has school, Children's Academy, helped build that value system?
After discipline, the biggest value point that the school has taught me is to be honest. I was mischievous, yet I was disciplined. I was having fun, yet I was serious. So wherever I felt if I've done something wrong, and if one of my teachers has caught me, my habit was not to lie. My habit was just to accept it. Yes, this has happened, and I've done it. This is the reason why I've done it. This is what I thought. And that got me out of a lot of difficult situations. I'd seen my other peers, my other friends at school who would try to skip the situation with a lie, and they would get caught up in their own lies, and then they would have to lie again to get out of one, and then one more, and then one more, and then at a point the teacher really figures it out, be like, okay, the story is going nowhere. So I feel being honest is something that is very important, and which is a very strong value that again is incorporated through my teachers. The other very interesting quality that I learned from the school was respecting other people's culture and to understand where they come from. I think this has also made me very street smart in my early days. We would hang around with people coming from different situations, different areas, and we would appreciate whatever they had to say or whatever they had to bring. May it be just sharing our tiffin boxes around, or may it be just us hanging out after the school, outside the school. So I think that has been a very important value for me to even build my brand, where I understand someone's culture, do not disrespect that, and elevate the whole thing with my own experience towards it. So I think these values were very important that I learned from the school.
So Pratik, we mentioned about feedback and how you consume that feedback and make yourself stronger. What is that piece of advice for our young audience who are constantly getting constructive feedback probably from teachers and parents and from so many other people?
I think the most important thing to consider when it comes to feedback is to first observe yourself how you react to feedback. A lot of people have a blockage when it comes to feedback. They try to defend themselves. For me, I think feedback is all about feedback is sort of an eye-opener. It is not about the intent why you did something. It is always about how you make someone feel. And you can never justify yourself by giving excuses around feedback. If you have made someone feel some way, and that person saying that, this is what has happened and this is how I feel, or this I feel should be better. The one thing that I feel what people do wrong is challenge that feedback. Feedback is something that will help you grow. It's the only thing that will help you grow. If you're doing something wrong, you want someone to come and tell you that you're doing it wrong. If you're doing it right, again that comes as appreciation. You want someone to come and appreciate you. But constructive feedback is very important when it comes to your career growth. And I think the main reason for that blockage for a lot of people and for a lot of kids might be, one would be the peer acceptance, and the second would be ego. So as for the kids, I would say will more be peer acceptance, and for adults it's more about brushing their ego. I remember as a kid, if someone gave me a feedback that what I did is wrong, I would first react looking at how many people heard that, and then I would see, okay, how are they reacting. If my peers are accepting it, then I had no shame in accepting it. But if my peers would not accept it, then I would try to defend that. So it is more about, at this early age, it is more about how your friends react along with you. And I think at a later age, it is all about ego. So one of my mentors told me this yesterday when I was on a call with him. He said, Pratik, the first thing that we do when we start a business is put our ego at home. We cannot bring our ego into the business. That is not the reason why we start a business. We start a business to solve problems. If you are able to solve someone's problem, and if that problem is a problem for a larger audience, then you see a business opportunity. And when you're trying to solve someone's problem, it is very important to learn how that person is taking your solution as towards the problem, right? And that can only happen through feedback. So for us, we did a lot of wrong things early in our career, early at our brand stage, and with feedback, we changed so many things which have created a larger impact. But that couldn't have come if I had bought my ego in between and tried to justify and try to justify my decisions why I did this. So for everyone out there, it doesn't matter your reason for doing something. What matters is how you make someone feel. If you are open to constructive feedback, to hear the other side's story, then only you can create that balancing act between the two, which is going to lead to a long-term relationship. A very small example I'd like to share when it comes to feedback. At our restaurant in Lower Parel, we had done it very fancy, very fancy, and the glass facade, I had put those fluted glass, which is a glass but you can't see through it. So, and I saw not a lot of people were coming in. They would see the place from outside, but it wouldn't strike a desire to walk into the place. So there were some people who worked in an agency next door, and they were having some food at my restaurant. So I went to them and I asked for feedback. I was like, guys, how can I market this better? I want this place to be filled up. So this one person, she told me the first thing that you should do is change that glass. She said, you have such a good place inside. There is so much to explore and see. It looks like a very cute place. But how would we know? From the outside, it looks like that blockage of a glass. And when we walk inside, that's when we know, okay, this is something else inside. So I have built my business only on constructive feedback. As a problem solver, I have to know what the problem is. If I keep defending myself, अरे नहीं ठीक है आपको ये प्रॉब्लम है लेकिन ये आपका प्रॉब्लम है, मेरा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, then तो there is no way ahead. Then तो you part ways, I part ways. I think as an entrepreneur, your value is directly built on the kind of solutions that you're providing for a larger problem. How simple that solution is, what is the acceptance ratio of that solution, and what value that solution is bringing on the table. That is where your value chain comes in. So you never know where you find your niche. If you don't talk to your people, if you don't talk to your customers, you wouldn't know what problem to solve.
Pratik, as an entrepreneur, you would have faced a lot of hurdles and setbacks. So how did you face those setbacks and challenges?
See, my industry comes with a lot of legacy problems. So legacy problems are something that every industry has. In the restaurant industry, it is always about the people that are working there. So iteration rate is very high. For the younger audience, iteration rate is basically how many people are leaving the job versus how many people are joining the job, right? So you have more people leaving your jobs rather than new people coming in. And then again, you have to train people, which takes 1 month, 2 months. And you have to teach them a few things so that they can execute a certain responsibility. And for some reason, then they decide to leave. So that has been a huge problem for me. I still remember in my early days, there was a time when a lot of people left, and it was just me and 2 other guys versus 6 other guys that I used to have. So at that point, at that time, for me, it was the ultimate problem in my life, where I thought, इससे बड़ी problem हो ही क्या सकती है. So that was a very big setback, because I had to work. I was already working 12 hours a day. Now I had to work 18 hours a day almost, and I couldn't give anyone a reason, because I am the entrepreneur. I'm the one on the top seat. Who do I go to, right? So I took this problem to my friends and my mentors, and they told me this is what entrepreneurship is about. You face a problem, you try to find a solution to that problem, and you move ahead. So getting setbacks, take it lightly. It's not gonna end. It's not the end of the story. So that moment will give you a lot of anxiety. It can give you a lot of excitement, a whirlpool of emotions. But at setbacks, you should put yourself together and just wait for the moment to pass, and then again come back with the problem-solving nature. As an entrepreneur, I feel you're just solving problems. It's all about solving problems for your customers, for your employees, for your management, for the government. It's all about that.
So right now also, Pratik, there's a lot of focus when it comes to our teaching methodologies. There's a lot of focus on critical thinking and providing problems so that our children are better suited to face the problems that they'll face in the future.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful example that you gave from your personal story.
Thank you. I think preparation is the key. As an entrepreneur, you cannot go in and take control of a situation without being prepared. For me, before even I began my stint with restaurants or owning my own restaurants or being a chef at my own restaurant, I thought it's time for me to prepare for this industry and see what it's all about. So I came from a background where I was working in a boutique PR agency, doing branding for people, and I decided to quit that because I was not enjoying my time over there. And I thought, to understand a pizza business, it is very important for me to work at a pizza business. So I took the most basic job, the entry level job that was available in the pizza store, and I started from there. When I did that, I started observing a lot of things from the ground level. A lot of things which I thought could be better, I gave that as a feedback to the bosses at that point. And as I saw them implement it, I understood the power of being prepared. If you want to take a challenge head on and you want to strike it and you want to get out stronger and win that situation, you can't do that underprepared, right? And preparing yourself is not even about doing 100 different things or trying too hard for it. It can just be that one thing that you do the best, you do perfect. If you fail to prepare, be prepared to fail.
Pratik, what are the qualities that define an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest quality that would define an entrepreneur is persistence. The ability to keep going, may whatever come. This sounds very fancy. It sounds like out of a novel, out of a book. But the depth of it is to just keep going. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. If you're an entrepreneur, आपको ना थोड़ा ज़िद्दी होना पड़ेगा. आपको जो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है उसके लिए आपको थोड़ा ज़िद्दी होना पड़ेगा, और वो ज़िद मिटनी नहीं चाहिए. कुछ भी हो जाए, टुमारो थिंग्स कैन चेंज. आपका एम्प्लॉय छोड़ के चला गया, आपके साथ में आपके कोई क्लाइंट ने पेमेंट नहीं किया, इट डजेंट मैटर. आपको जो करना है, यू हैव टू कीप डूइंग दैट, एंड दैट इज़ द बिगेस्ट क्वालिटी एन एंटरप्रेन्योर शुड हैव. I've seen a lot of people quit their journey in between because they can't keep going. It can be a family problem, it can be a market industry problem, it can be just dealing with stress. So persistence is the key, I feel. The second most important quality, as I discussed before, again, is your problem solving nature. You cannot look at things with ego. You have to understand the basics of the root cause analysis that is very much required. Why is something happening? You cannot just blame it on either the culture or either their behavior or either the habit. You have to understand the root cause analysis, which is very simple. People unnecessarily try to complicate it. So that is the third quality which I feel is very important, is to keep it simple. Keep it simple and keep it stupid. As simple and stupid as you can explain it to a 5-year-old kid. I think these three qualities are the defining ones for a successful entrepreneur.
So, Pratik, is there anything that you had wished you had known before you embarked on this journey? And where do you see yourself 5 years hence?
So, as I was talking about this before, keeping it simple and stupid, that is something that I really wished I had known from my day one. As an entrepreneur, as a creative entrepreneur, there have been times where you try to complicate things not for the complexity of it, just to be different. And that is when you actually land into a problem, because then you are the only one who can do it. You are the only one who understands it. For the larger audience, for a larger perspective, for your employees, it is very important to keep it very simple. Earlier, I recall earlier when I used to teach anyone, any of the chefs, to make the kind of pizzas that I do, I unnecessarily used to be like, oh, you just need to push it this way and talk about hydration, all the technical terms that revolve around it. Just because I was so excited about all of that, right? But then I saw it was very difficult for people to understand because they come from a different background. Their mindset is different, right? So when there was a time when the iteration was high, I had to work with people who were not very skilled because there was no choice. And that's when I chose this keeping it simple approach, where I would just go up to the person and be like, यार रोटी तो बना लेते हो, ये बनाना कौन सी बड़ी बात है, चलो इसको ऐसे करते हैं. And God, what changes came after that? What changes? So keeping it simple is, I think, the key that I wish I would have got before I embarked on my journey.
And how do you see yourself 5 years hence?
That's a very tough and difficult question to answer with times changing every 6 months. But as an entrepreneur, I have my goals set. In the next 5 years, I see our brand being established in all the affluential areas of the city. It has to reach its right audience, and the target is to cover at least 90% of the target audience that resides in the city. Right now, we are maybe at around 7%.
Pratik, what would be the most memorable event of your school life?
There are so many, it's very difficult to choose one. But if I had to choose, I would say it was the lunch break. Us just hanging around the canteen, and the fight to get the cutlet out of the canteen was a big one. And we were excited when the first time we saw Mountain Dew come out of a canteen. Because as kids at home, we were restricted not to have cold drinks around. And at school, it was our wild moment. Like how you would get wild at a later age with your food habits or whatever you want to do. Basically, not being restricted by someone. So that was the most fun moment, which still has a very special place in my heart.
Now they'll sing their birthday song.
Oh.
When the music, when it goes on, can you recall does it ring a bell?
Yeah, it does ring a bell because by this time you were just drained completely and ready to go home. So as sleepy as I was during my morning prayers, I was equally sleepy during the afternoon prayer.
Do you recall who was your class teacher when you were in grade 10? Do you recall that?
The one teacher that I strongly recall is Mukundan sir. because I can just never forget him. I've learned a lot of things from him. I think history was taken care by Reshma ma'am. Hindi was again Upadhyay sir. I again can never forget him. His style of teaching was very unique. Marathi was taken care by Patil sir, who unfortunately is not with us anymore since COVID.
You were into sports?
Yes, I was big into sports. So I moved from another school to Children's Academy in grade 6. And in my previous school, I was a very enthusiastic athlete. And gymnastics was something that would interest me a lot. And when I came to Children's Academy, gymnastics was not an option for me. So the other options were shot put, javelin throw, volleyball, and I was very into sports because I just felt like spending time out, any sort of good physical activity which is done in a team format. So that is the reason why I was a lot more inclined towards sports. And another reason being you get to miss a class, which is which is again a very big incentive for kids, I feel.
So Pratik, how do you stay updated with industry trends and consumer preferences?
So when it comes to industry trends, because I was trained in Toronto when it comes to pizza, I worked at Toronto. I'm connected with a lot of chefs who are from North America, and through them I'm connected to a lot of chefs who are in Europe. So Instagram is one of the only ways to stay updated what is happening where. You have to sort of see what's happening in the world, and then you have to see where your consumers are, and then you find a middle ground. For us to understand the customer, as I said before, constructive feedback is very important. You have to ask what the problem is. Most of the times, I tell this to everyone who works with me, the person who brings the problem is the person who's going to give you the solution as well, right? So you just have to ask. It is as simple as that. When I look at what's happening in Europe or in Americas, and I see what is missing out here, and then I just talk to my patrons, my customers who are at the restaurant, very casually and very honestly. Okay, guys, I'm thinking about this. I've tried something new. Would you like to give it a shot? And because the conversation is so honest, they don't mind. They're like, yeah, sure, why not? So that is how we also do our sampling for the new product. That is how we take customer feedback for our new product. So again, coming back to the question, staying updated to industry trends, I just feel is follow people who are leading the industry, follow brands who are leading the industry, and when it comes to customers, just talk to them.
So Pratik, this podcast is being watched by our young learners. Could you share some tips on setting goals?
See, the first tip would be to dream big. If you ask me as an entrepreneur, as a person, I am at a stage in my life where I feel nothing is impossible. It is all about how bigger I can dream, what I intend to do. If I want to if I want to solve some problem which is smaller, I dedicate my time towards that and it gets done. But tomorrow, if I try to solve a larger problem, it might not get done very quickly, but I will still have that impact, right? So the first thing is to dream big. Don't shy away from dreaming or thinking your peers will talk about what and your family will tell you what, right? Once you create that dream which excites you, and if you have that passion for it, you start working backwards from there. So this is what I call backward integration. You have a dream, and then you see yourself where you are right now, and then you come back to where you can be realistically, how you can go about it, and that is the most important, I feel. For me, I had a dream of doing a big fancy restaurant, a fine dine restaurant. Why is there no Michelin star restaurant in India? That is what I thought early in my days, right? And that is what influenced me to start something which was so unique, which could achieve a Michelin star if the work is that great. But if I hadn't thought it back, I wouldn't have taken this small step, which was my first step in the journey, right? From there on to the next restaurant and on to the next restaurant.
So Pratik, I had the most enriching conversation, and I'm sure our young learners will connect with what you have said. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Pleasure was mine. It was amazing to come back again to the school, share what I can with the younger audience, and inspire them to create something and dream bigger. Out of the box, which people say. Very easy to say out of the box, but how do you teach someone how to dream out of the box, right? You just dream something which is unimaginable, and try to go to that point, see where you are right now. And I think very important message for the kids also is to enjoy your time. The idea is to maintain a balance. Life को थोड़ा हल्का फुल्का रखें, ना ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस होना चाहिए, ना ज़्यादा बहुत ज़्यादा फन होना चाहिए. डिसिप्लिन जहाँ ज़रूरत हो, हैव फन जहाँ ज़रूरत हो, and maintain that balance. I think the teachers at school are one of the best. The insights which they give in terms of dealing with your life problems or situations, that is very helpful these days. So kids, maintain the balance, don't take it too seriously, and have fun with what you do.